Welcome to the Power of Pain podcast. I'm your host, Aiden Schulte. Today we're featuring Jordan Hayes. We're going to be talking about how to grow your bench press. How about you start?
Well, one of the things that helped me grow my bench press when I first started off powerlifting was the dumbbell chest flies. So I started off my bench around, I think like 190, and within like a 3-month time span of like religiously doing dumbbell chest flies every single chest day, I grew, I think my bench up to like 245 within 3 months. So it really helps um, those striations tear.
Yeah,
Well, like
all
and
the fibers.
on my last set, I would really hold the dumbbells like 90
In the
degrees.
stretch position.
Yeah, to really help tear those fibers. Uh,
I think a big thing that helped grow my bench personally was doing the Larson press, which the Larson press is basically the same thing as your bench press, just without the legs. So you either pull your legs to your core or you just keep your legs straight on the bench. I think doing the Larson press really just helps grow your raw bench strength and like overall, because I feel like it emphasizes more of your upper back and your chest and your front delts instead of your leg drive. Which, speaking of leg drive, how about we segue into that?
all right. So the thing with leg drive is you got to be like very careful with it. When I first started working out, I didn't know anything about leg drive.
I think it's really easy to think it's leg drive when you're lifting your ass off the bench.
Yeah, that was the problem I had. I mean, first time I benched a heavy weight, I tried out leg drive and my ass came straight off the bench, and I thought it was, you know, uh, I thought it was a proper lift. I thought, it counted until like I've gone to a couple competitions and that would be considered a failed lift.
Yeah, even slightly lift your ass off the bench and it's done.
Yeah, so and you got to time it like perfectly. You can't start your leg drive early because then that fluid motion of the bench press when it won't work out.
I feel like having your quads activated at the bottom of the movement is good, but you really I feel like there's a bounce almost.
Yeah.
Like when you try to leave your chest, that's when your quads really engage and fire. So
Mm-hmm.
when you watch our bench videos,
Mm-hmm.
you see we jump when we get to the bottom of the movement.
Yeah. Um.
Let's talk about a little protection, shall we? The little wrist wraps. Um, I think wrist wraps help give confidence to your bench press because you're not as worried about the weight falling on you. I think wrist wraps are good if you're an older lifter. I think they're great for really emphasizing heavy weight for low reps. I feel like if you're going moderate weight, I think you should just stick without them to help grow your wrist strength. Because what I'm noticing is I've used my wrist wraps so much that my wrists are really weak when I don't bench with wrist wraps. So that's not the greatest thing for your bench. I still wear my wrist wraps when I go for my maxes, but I only wear wrist wraps really when I'm at 70% of my max. No, probably closer to like 80% my one rep max. Because I benched my one rep max right now is 315. I went up to 275 without wrist wraps. And Jordan over here does not use
I do
wrist
not
wraps.
use wrist wraps. I got a injury late in the football season, and every single time I use wrist wraps, kind of hurts my the tendon that runs down my thumb. But I've always used wrist wraps when I first started working out, and they really improved my bench. But I don't use them anymore because of that injury.
I mean, he benches 330, so really, how much how much do they really help?
Yeah.
I think they're more just a confidence thing with your mental state. I feel like that's a big fault with some people is not having confidence under heavy weights. That's a big struggle for me, anyways. Like I get a little scared of the weight.
Yeah. Uh, what about arching when bench pressing?
I think an arch can be good to an extent. I feel like if you overarch, you really put your shoulders at risk of injury. And like a lot of female lifters always have really high arches, and I don't understand. Um, like personally, my arch isn't the greatest. Like it's better than flat bench, but I don't think overall my arch is very like high. I you have to have an arch in my opinion because it really emphasizes. So when you bench, it's like you you start in line with your chest, and then you kind of form like a parenthesis almost. Like when you go to the bottom of the movement, you're almost pushing up towards like your chin. So
Yeah.
I think the arch overall is like just proper technique. I know a lot of people that don't arch at all when they flat bench. Our principal, Mr. Bettino, does flat bench like no arch whatsoever.
No leg drive.
Benches 415, so that says something for you.
Yeah.
415 raw, no wrist wraps, no bench shirt, no nothing. What about dumbbells?
Yeah. So, um, flat dumbbell chest press is like single-handedly one of the best chest exercise that I've found. It really allows you to get the depth that you wouldn't be able to get on regular bench barbell bench press. You really get that like depth when you go down on the
I feel like you get a better squeeze.
yeah.
You get a better you get more tension across your chest.
Um, I know people say that you activate your lats when you do a barbell bench press, and
Yeah,
I when I flat dumbbell bench press, I really feel the my lats doing the work.
yeah, the engagement.
Yeah, and just those like small little stabilizer muscles in your forearms and in your wrists really help being able to go up to those big weights in barbell bench press.
I feel like stability training isn't taught enough. Like those
Yeah.
little stabilizer muscles are so key to a big bench. That's that's where you see a lot of injuries happen. Is um, people don't have the strong stabilizer muscles and they tear a pec or they tear their tricep, just something like that.
Um, yeah, that's why those like static holds are really essential for being able to work your way up to those uh, heavier bench presses because like you might be able to have the strength to bench, but it's really being able to like you know hold the weight. If you can't hold the weight, then you won't really be able to like re-rack it or unrack the heavy amount of weight.
What we mean by a static hold is you take like 110% of your max and you get a spotter to they can give you a lift off. That's a choice. I personally don't like a lift off. I just take it off the rack and I sit at the top of the movement. I don't drop it. I don't do anything. I hold the bench at the top of the movement and just try to sit there for 15 seconds. I feel like that helps build your confidence under heavy load and really like tests where you really feel like it tests your max. And it can help grow your max too.
Yeah, those other ones where you put like they're called the static press, where
Yeah.
where you put the
Yep.
bars
You
like
put like
the
you put
safety bars in the
yeah.
bottom. And you pretty much just take that heavy weight and just press as much as you can. Kind of gives you a feel of the weight.
Yeah. It helps work. I feel like it helps work on all your muscles firing at the same time, like your engagement.
Mm.
I feel like overall, this is how I've grown my bench. This is how you've grown yours.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to the Power Over Pain podcast. We'll see you next time.